Good day, friends, and you are again welcome to another WASE online experience. My name is Philip, and I'll be your instructor for today. But before we start our activity for the day, I'll need you to subscribe to our channel if you've not already done that. Remember, once new videos are created, you'll be sent an alert if you have subscribed to this channel. To be able to do this, you simply need to go below the video and tap the subscribe button. Alright, thank you very much for doing this for us. Let's look at our activity for the day. We'll be continuing with algebraic expressions, and today we'll be looking at the part 3 of this topic. And under this part, we'll be looking at how to form algebraic expressions from word problems. In forming algebraic expressions from word problems, we will need to note the following. First, we will need to note that letters or variables are used to represent unknown numbers. Next, we will need to note that different letters or different variables are used to represent different unknown numbers. Finally, we need to note that the operation signs plus, minus, times, and division can also be given other names. And in our next examples that we are going to look at, we'll be using the other names that can be referred to these operation signs. Let's look at some examples. For the first example, we have been given the word expression sum of two numbers. The word sum also refers to as plus. So the sum of two numbers simply means that two numbers are being added together. Since we do not know these two numbers, we would use variables to represent them. So the first number would represent by x, and the second number would represent by y. So the sum of these two numbers will be represented by x plus y. Let's look at the second example. In this example, we have been given the word expression difference between two numbers. Another name for the word difference is minus. So the difference between two numbers simply means that one number minus another number. Since we do not know what these numbers are, we're going to represent them by variables. So we'll represent the first number by the variable x and the second by the variable y. So the difference between these two numbers x and y, which we do not know, will be x minus y. In our next example, we have been given the word expression product of two numbers. The word product means that multiplication or times. So the product of two numbers simply means that two unknown numbers being multiplied together. Since we do not know these numbers, we are going to represent them by variables. So the first will be x, the second would be y. So the product of the two numbers x and y will be x times y. That would give us x y. Our next word expression is quotient of two numbers. Another word for quotient is division. So for two unknown numbers, the quotient of them, then please let's represent those two unknown numbers by x and y. So the quotient of these two unknown numbers x and y will be x divided by y. The next word description is 4 increased by a number. 4 increased by a number simply means that we have 4 first and we are increasing it by an unknown number. That unknown number we do not know, so we would represent it by a variable. Let's use the variable x. So how do we increase? We increase by adding 2. So if we have 4 increased by an unknown number x, what it means that we would have 4 plus the unknown number x. The next word description, we have 7 decreased by a number. So what this simply means is that we first have 7 and we have to decrease it by a number. That number we do not know, so we represent that number by the variable, let's say y. How do we decrease? We decrease by subtracting. So 7 decreased by a number would be first our 7, then we subtract the unknown number y from this 7. The next word description given to us states that a number increased by 2. So from this statement, we are being told that there is first a number and that number was increased by 2. So that number we do not know, let's represent it by the variable y. So we would write that number first, then we are going to increase it. To increase we have to add, so increase it by 2. So we have to add 2 to that unknown number. When we do this, we would get the unknown number y increased by, that will be plus 2, the number 2. The next word description given to us states that a number decreased by 10. So what this simply means is that first there is a number. That number would have to be written first, and that number was decreased. Decreasing means that we have to subtract, so followed by the subtraction sign by what? By 10. So that would give us the number which we do not know, so we will represent it by a variable x. We'll decrease it, so that will be minus by what? 10. So write 10, as simple as that. Our next word description states that 12 divided by a number. So what this simply means is that we would first have 12 and that 12 will be divided by a number. We are not told what that number is, so it's unknown. So that number will be represented by a variable. We will choose the variable y. You can choose any other variable of your choice. So what it means is that we have 12 divided by our unknown number y. Our next word description, and it states product of 7 and a number. Product means that multiplication. So the product of 7 and a number simply means that 7, that's the first item, multiplied by a number. The number we do not know, so we will represent it by the variable x. So we would have 7 times x. 7 times x will give us 7x. Our next word description, and it states twice a number. Twice something simply means 2 times of that thing. So twice an unknown number simply means 2 times of that unknown number. Let's represent our unknown number by the variable y. So twice y will mean that 2 times y. 2 times y would give us 2y. Our next word description, and it states 5 more than a number. The first question we should be asking ourselves is that how do we get more? We get more by adding. For you to get more, you have to add. So 5 more than a number simply means that we are adding 5 more to that number. That number we do not know, it's a variable, so let's represent it by x. So we are adding 5 more to the variable x. That will give us x plus 5. Let's look at our next word description, and it states that 10 less than a number. Again, in this case, we should be asking ourselves, how do we get less? We get less by subtracting. So 10 less than a number, that number we do not know, it's a variable. Let's represent it by the letter x. So 10 less than that number means that we are lessening that number. We are subtracting that number from 10. Our next word description, and it states 5 divided by twice a number. Now this word description seems a lot, but the truth is when we take our time and we break it down, we'll be able to get the algebraic expression from this word description. So first we are being told that 5, so let's write the 5 first, and this 5 is divided by something. So we would take the 5, we will divide it by something. But what was it divided by? It was divided by twice a number. Twice a number, that number we do not know. So 2 times an unknown number. So let's represent the unknown number by y. So 2y, that will be, yes, that will be 2y. So that means that our 5 will be divided by 2y. Very simple, isn't it? Let's take our next word description, and it states that 6 times a number less than 3. So to be able to rewrite this into a mathematical expression, we would have to take the items in the sentence one after the other. So first we are being told that 6 times a number. 6 times a number means that 6 times an unknown variable. So 6x. Let's take the variable to be x. So 6x. So, and we are also being told that less than. So what it means that to less something means to subtract. So that less than would be minus. So less than what? 3. So that will be minus 3. So it will be 6x minus 3. As simple as that. The next word description states that 5 more than twice a number. So let's do this one step after the other. So first 5. Let's write the 5 down. More than. How do we get more than? we get more than by adding, so that will be 5 plus. Then the next item is twice a number. 2 times a number. The number we do not know is a variable. Let's represent it by y, so that will be 2y. So our final answer will be 5 plus 2y. Very simple, isn't it? Our next word description states that the product of 6 and a number added to 10. First, we know that product means multiplication, and we are being told that the product of 2 items here, the two items here are, the first item is 6, so let's write that first item 6. The second item is a number added to 10. So it's not just one number, so we have a number which we do not know. Let's represent it by the variable x added to, so that will be plus 10 added to 10, so plus 10. So that whole set, that whole x plus 10 is being multiplied by 6. So when we do this, we'll get 6, everything into bracket, x plus 10, bracket closed. Isn't that simple? The next word description states that 10 less than 3 times a number. So let's jump into this one step by step. 10 less than something. So what this means is that we are taking something out of 10. In other words, we are subtracting something out of 10. But the question is that what are we taking or subtracting out of 10? It is 3 times a number. 3 times a number we do not know. So that will be 3x if we are representing that number by the variable x. So the item 3x will be subtracted from 10. That's how we would represent this. Our next word description states that 10 times a number is subtracted from 3 and the result is multiplied by 7. So let's do this one step after the other. So first, from the word description, we are told that 10 times a number, 10 times a number simply means 10 times an unknown number. So that unknown number is a variable x, so that will be 10x. And that item is subtracted from. So we are subtracting 10x from what? From 3. So that means that I would first write 3 minus 10x. Let's write that. The remaining part of the word description is saying that and the result is multiplied by 7. What results are we talking about? The result you see on the screen. 3 minus 10x all into bracket. That result is multiplied by 7. So we are going to multiply that whole item in bracket by 7. So when we do this, we would get 7, then bracket 3 minus 10x, bracket closed. That is the mathematical expression from this word description. Our next word description states that the square of a certain number plus 5. The result is multiplied by 7. So let's get this done using simple steps. First, we are being told that the square of something. The square of what? Of a certain number plus 5. So a certain number which we do not know plus 5. That number we do not know will be a variable y plus 5. All of them into bracket square. So let's write that first. We are then told that the result is multiplied by 7. Which result are we talking about? It is the result we see on the board. Into bracket y plus 5 bracket closed squared. That result, it was multiplied by 7. So what we will do is to multiply that whole expression, that is into bracket y plus 5 bracket close exponent 2, that whole expression by 7. So when we do this, we would get 7, then bracket y plus 5 bracket closed all exponent 2. The next word description states 10 times a number increased by 4, and the result divided by thrice another number. So first we would write 10 times a number. 10 times a number is 10 times x. We do not know that number, so 10 times x. Increased by 4. Increased by 4 means that you add 4 to that, so 10x plus 4, and this was divided by, so we have the whole thing divided by thrice another number. So remember, I didn't say thrice the same number. If it were to have said thrice the same number, it would be 3 times x. By saying thrice another number, so that will be 3 times another variable. So we are choosing another variable y, so 3y. So that will be divided by, the whole expression there will be divided by 3y, 3 times another number. So this whole word problem has been represented using algebra. So we now have 10x plus 4 all divided by 3y. Now guys, we'll be looking at this again when we do linear equations and also when we do simultaneous equations. So this time around we realize that we have equal signs inside the expressions. These ones are just algebraic expressions, so that's why you are not seeing the equal sign. So when we start simultaneous equations and linear equations, we would have algebraic expressions that have the equal sign in them. But I'll need you to remember that for you to master word problems, it is very important you solve a lot of them. That is the only way by which you can master word problems. So try your best solving a lot of examples under word problems, and you get to the point where it will be very easy for you. Well friends, this brings us to the end of part 3 of algebraic expressions. In our next meeting, we will be looking at the part 4 of this topic, and in the part 4 we will be looking at binomial expressions. Thanks very much for staying with us, and please subscribe for this channel if you have already not done that. We need your subscription for the continuation of this program. Also, once you subscribe and we make or come up with new videos, we would get you alerted. Thank you. Stay safe until we meet again in the next video.